Yay!
Yay! Hello.
Happy Friday, Rachel.
Happy Friday.
Got your water? You ready to go?
I have two waters. I have regular water and soda water.
Ooh,
So
double trouble. Okay.
I always have two waters. I don't know if you've noticed that.
I've always associated you with tumblers, like always.
Yeah.
No,
I only put it in the tumbler when there's lime in it. Actually, usually boyfriend does it for me.
So nice of him. Hello, everyone. To everyone joining us, I see Anita says she's joining from Johannesburg, South Africa, which is rad.
That's awesome. One of my really good friends was from South Africa.
I've been once in like 2000. I was very young. It was like 2009 or something.
I've never been.
It's a beautiful country. So today Rachel's got a treat for us. We are making Heishi. We're doing the challenge that I posed to Rachel. Was like, we gotta make with Heishi. It's time.
Yeah.
We've had people have been asking in Gem Chat and on the live streams, like, what the heck do I do with the Heishi bead? Which is like a fair thing. And there's two ways you can answer it, I think.
Two ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, what are the two ways?
So my immediate answer was like, oh, like no different than any other bead.
Yeah.
Like, you can string it and like you can use it kind of as you would a round bead or a rondelle. Like it just looks slightly different just because it is a different bead. But Rachel kind of came up with the approach that I think is a little different. She came up with an entire wire technique to feature the Heishi bead.
I can hear myself. And I'm all about how can we use this in a way that maybe isn't the way that you would usually use it, is what I'm always trying to solve when you pose these questions to me. I'm like, all right, they'll be able to figure out, oh, you can string it, but how can I do it a little bit differently is always what I'm trying to think of.
Yeah, I mean, I am also fascinated to see how you would string it and put it into one of your Mallis jewelry designs. So I hope we get a little taste of that later on in our Heishi series. But for today, I'll put up your overhead so we can get to see the bracelet.
Yeah. So today we're going to make, I called it this garden party bracelet because they look like little roses to me. I don't know if they look like that to everybody, but to me, they look like little roses. So what I've done here is, and I'll show you this technique, of course, we're basically going to make this little center part, and then on the back, we're going to do some twisting. And what I love about this is that I think it looks really beautiful even from the back. So with bracelets, one of my concerns is always, how is it going to look if it flips itself over? Because, inevitably it probably will, especially with designs that are weighted a little bit more heavily on the bead on one side than the other. And I think it's really pretty on both sides.
Yeah, it is.
This is one of the few designs I use jump rings in too, which is, I don't know if anybody's been here for a lot of my classes, you'll know I don't really use jump rings, but I really like them in this design. I think it's fun.
Yeah.
It's like the back is a chain and the front is flowers.
Yeah, I'm so curious how those wires come together. So we'll hop in a couple minutes, or even just now. If folks are ready, I think, we might as well go ahead and get going.
Yeah.
And also, I just love to start. I love the comp. Obviously, I love kyanite. Just
of course, I love kyanite. Sam, you had these Heishis in kyanite, blue kyanite Heishis, in like 3 different ones, maybe 4, and I have all of them because I'm like, oh, kyanite, I need that. What does it look like on? Sorry, I just saw the question.
Yeah.
I have a bracelet on my other wrist, so let's see if I can get it on with my left hand.
Yeah, I got a little obsessive getting all the pretty kyanite I could find when I was in Tucson. It was just like, oh my God, what do you say, Jesse? Yeah, we just kept finding really nice quality kyanite. And then I scooped up so much. So we still have, Tucson was in April, we still have like a few strands of each shape left on the website.
These ones I'm like particularly obsessed with. and I'm sure you'll see why as we're doing this with them, but and actually this bracelet doesn't flip over really, but I was still worried about it flipping over. So that's why the backs are so pretty. And I think that it's a good technique for that. But yeah, I was so obsessed with this cut of them that you got, especially because it's not as, see, like I have these ones from you too, and this one's a lot more smooth of a cut. But this one, I love the way these are cut. It's like they're almost sawed. You can see, you know, I'm a rough gem girl. I love, the more like rough and crubbly they look, the more I love them. But these are like smooth and beautiful while also being rough. So
yeah, I just looked. I'm in case anyone was curious, either watching now or on the replay later. It looks like we're out of that exact type of Heishi, but we still have other kind of Heishis in the shop that will work.
Do you have these ones? Do you want me to use them for today?
Are those the larger discs?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have the larger disc, and I also have the faceted large discs.
I don't think I have those, actually, but I have these. I can use these.
Whatever you like, Rachel.
Yeah, and then I'll have 2 different bracelets. So let's go ahead. Let me just grab a couple more out. I'll show how to do the technique on both of them, but we'll make the whole bracelet out of these. They're so stunning, honestly. So today we're going to be using 20 gauge wire. We're going to be using our round nose pliers, our cutters. You know me, I like a flush cutter. I think these ones are actually called nippers, but they're basically flush cutters. And then I've got my handy dandy chain nose pliers, fave. And then, yeah, 20 gauge wire. This is bare copper wire. It is dead soft. I don't know if I'd use anything super tempered just because of the way we're going to be manipulating the wire. And then, so you need the Heishis, obviously. And then you're also going to need, if you want to make earrings, you'll need ear wires and a dangle, which I'll show you how to do. And also some jump rings. I believe these are 6 millimeters. Honestly, whatever you have that works, use it. I'm never too obsessive about jump ring size. I just kind of use whatever works that I have. I've had these for a while. Rachel, but these are a nice, good size.
We have a Jessie wanting to say hello.
Hi, Jessie. You look like a ninja.
It's just my big jacket.
You do come look like
but then when you like separate, I was like, oh, it's a bathrobe.
It's like just an oversized like thin jacket.
Okay.
It looks very comfortable.
It's so perfect for like the bay because it's like it's never too hot.
Right.
But it keeps you warm.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Or just the fluctuation from like, am I cold? I don't know.
It's
lovely.
It's a great accessory for the Bay Area.
Yeah. Well, I hope you have a lovely weekend, Jessie.
I hope you do too.
Thanks for popping in.
Bye, Jessie.
Gemma here to hang out.
All right.
Gemma. Oh, Gemma's our good luck charm.
I definitely feel like every time you mention Gemma, I thought it was a person. I definitely forgot that. So let's get started. So I've just got some pieces of 20 gauge wire here. They're probably about 6 inches long. I feel like I can measure that actually. It doesn't really matter. Yes. I just cut these like honestly just straight off the top of my head, and they really are about 6 inches long. That's usually what I end up cutting. Ooh, so we should be able to get probably about 2 links out of this, maybe with a little bit of extra. If you know me, you know that I like to just have enough. I like to have a lot of wire to work with. I don't like to have to play wire chicken. I know we were playing thread chicken last week, but generally I don't like playing that game with any material. I like to have enough to where I won't be annoyed. So what we're going to do, yeah, like this is supposed to be, there's a lot of things in my life that I do that annoy me, and this should not be one of them. So I'm going to take jewelry making should not be the thing that annoys you in your life.
This is true.
So this end is the end that I've cut with my flush cutters that is flat. So I'm going to come in here, and this is a technique that some of you who watch a lot of Sarah Lovecraft's classes, you'll have noticed. This is her like knotted headpin technique. So we're gonna just wrap around and basically make a little coil on the end of our what are these called? Round nose pliers. So I've got my coil, if you can see that. And it's basically, I'm stopping to where the links would match up if it was a jump ring. So there's one loop in between them and then one like half thing. And then we're going to come and we're going to take the end and we're going to put it back through the side that we started with. So like the rough side, or the one that's cut, you're going to come back over and pull through. Because this is 20 gauge wire, it's not going to, I don't know if she usually does 20 gauge wire. But this is a little bit more of a tougher wire to, you're not going to be able to get it perfectly flat. If you are, you're amazing, but I don't want it flat. I like the little loops. I think that's what gives it some of the character. So this is basically the center of our flowers.
You know, I think Sarah, this is because you don't like grabbing.
She do it a little bit different.
Yeah.
Oh, the nylon jaws.
Same start, but then she'll put her nylon jaws against the knot and then pull the wire with flat nose.
Oh, I'll have to try that when I'm not trying to have the extra loop. I've done it before with the, I think I've used her technique for 24 gauge wire before and it's worked really well, but yeah. I don't generally do a lot of 20 gauge headpins. I don't know why. So I'm going to put it through my Heishi. The nice thing about these large, actually all the Heishis I've come across have had pretty big holes, I guess. And then we're going to just hold on to this and we're going to bend our wire at a 90-degree angle. So it's nice and flush against there. These actually are really good for this. If you have the flatter Heishis, these ones are not as flat. And I think this will be easier as you're getting used to the technique if you use more flat ones. This is a very simple technique. It's kind of bananas. That's been my phrase lately, is bananas. And I think it's your fault.
I don't Really? Okay.
Yeah. Remember when you had all of those beads that you were calling bananas? Like,
but like,
I can't pinpoint it another time.
That's bananas. I don't like actually remember saying those words.
Maybe not, but you did say banana a lot.
Honestly,
so
I'll take credit.
So then I'm grabbing it with my round nose pliers right up against the bead, and I'm just gonna wrap this around. It's not gonna be like a perfectly round loop or anything, and that's okay because we're gonna grab it. And you want to just make sure that you're holding so nothing's going anywhere, and you're gonna twist it twice. More if you need it, but twice will be good. And you can also lightly push it down closer to the bead. You don't want to do too hard. You don't want to hurt the bead. So that's one of our loops. The reason I actually did this is because I originally wanted, when I was designing this, I was like, oh, it's going to be like leaves on either side. It's going to be so cute. And then as I'm making it, I'm realizing, oh, this wire is way too soft. And so by twisting it, it's not going to go anywhere. And it also creates that gorgeous, like I showed you when I flipped it over, how pretty it looks. So we're just going to come back around to the other side and we're going to make our loop there. I'm just going to hold it and twist it. Now I've twisted it once and I'm going to cut the wire. And that way, when we twist it the second time, ideally the wire is going to tuck itself underneath to where it won't go anywhere.
Oh, it'll kind of get like pulled in a little bit?
Yeah.
Cool.
So that, so that it shouldn't, ooh, did I twist it the wrong way? You could just keep twisting it if you need to. There we go. Perfectly not. It never gives me this much trouble. There we go. But the wire at least is flipped over. It's work hardened. So if it's not perfect, it's okay. And then I always end up distorting the other wrap. So we're going to come in here and just hold this and undistort the other wrap. There we go. Ta-da! Let's do another one.
I'm gonna try to follow along this time. This is although I'm grabbing a smaller Heishi, so I'm curious if it'll feel different. Maybe I should get a bigger Heishi.
You should be able to do it. You just want to be gentle, obviously. I wouldn't do it with any of the really thin ones.
Okay.
So I'm making the little coily part again. I'm kind of curious to try pulling it through with my nylon jaws. My nylon jaws are very old. Let's see. Okay, so I've got my little loops. I've gone twice around the end of my round nose pliers, and then I'm coming back through. Which part did you say that she holds on to with the nylon jaws?
Sarah likes to hold the nylon jaws like right against the knot.
Right against it?
Uh-huh. And then pull the main end, the loose end with your flat nose.
Interesting. I feel like it's just what I was doing with my fingers. But we'll try it. Yeah, it's still... this one's... All right, I like that, actually. I think it gives it more a little twirl. All right.
You've passed on the wisdom of Sarah Lovecraft.
All right, so I've got this at a 90-degree angle. And I think no matter, I mean, like, I've been working with wire for 18 years. And I'm twisting this again. No matter how long I've been working with it, I feel like there's always something new I can learn from somebody else. Always something. I never use, is she the one? She uses those like bent nose pliers all the time. And I have almost never used those ever. But I also have like 8 billion pairs of round nose pliers, so.
Yeah, she uses the bent chain nose a lot. I still haven't gotten myself a pair. I think I got rid of my pair ages ago because I was like, I don't use these. And now I'm like, wait, I kind of want to try it.
All right, so we're gonna bend this around again. And then you're gonna cut it, leaving it a little bit of a tail so it can tuck itself. I'm cutting it so that it will always be flatter, like with the flush cutters. If you cut it on one end, it'll be, so if I cut with the V inversion, the flat side facing the longer piece of wire, it'll be flat right here. And that's how I always cut on my projects, so that the flat end is in the project. It makes it look, especially when you're doing things that need to be opened and closed. Like, I do a lot of the, what are they called? The just like simple loops. If you don't have a flat end and you're tucking them under after you've rounded them, then the loops can come unhooked. That's why I think the flush cutters, I don't know why I don't put them in like maybe they do now, but all of the like wire working kits that you can buy like at the craft store, I'd never see them with flush cutters. They always have just the regular wire cutters. And I think that's really doing a disservice to beginners, honestly.
Because like you can get a very economy pair of flush cutters that will do just fine.
Yeah, no, literally every pair of flush cutters I have are so cheap. Maybe one day I'll buy a nice pair, but they're all like under $10. They're so cheap. I break them all the time, and that's why I'm scared to buy a nice pair. It's because I'll be so mad if I spend like $100 on them and then I break them.
All right, do you want to walk us through one more? Because I'm finally
absolutely
caught up, and I'm very determined to
try
this technique out.
Yeah, and you can see, oh, my little rosebuds look so similar though. They look so cute. I love them. Okay, and this like 6-inch piece of wire actually worked perfectly for 2 of these. So that's awesome. This is all I had left. This little piece.
Nice.
So okay, so we're starting with the flat end, like a piece that we've just cut that's nice and flat. And then we are putting it around the end of our pliers. I'd say the trickiest part is the first part of the loop, so you don't just like meet them up like you're going to do a jump ring. You got to kind of like start on a second row.
And then you're coming around until you see the initial cut.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then I'm going to take my tail and I'm going to come up over like it's going to kiss the initial cut, but then it's going through the loop and it's like, see you later. Okay. And I think we will. My hands are like sweaty today for some reason. So there's your daily dose of TMI. So I think actually using the pliers to grab is actually great. My hands are never sweaty. It's so bizarre.
Yeah, but you're entering like September, October in New York.
Yeah, I had the window open. It's beautiful outside, but somebody, we escaped the loudness of Brooklyn and somebody's got like blasting Phil Collins or something outside. So we closed the window. So I've got my little loopy thing. Hello, welcome.
Hey Anna, hey Catherine. Actually, we have 2 Anna Maries actually. Hello to both Anna Maries. Hope you're both doing well.
You do. Wow. Yeah. Welcome. Okay. So I've got it through the. I totally lost my words. I've got the little center of our quote unquote flower through, and then I'm gonna just bend it at the 90-degree angle again.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna come in with my round nose, and I'm just gonna bring the wire around them, just so that it touches back like you've made a loop, but this loop is not sturdy enough to hold anything yet. So then we're going to come in here with our other pliers, and you could probably use maybe your nylon jaws. I don't know. I always think they're slippery. Let's see if they'll work. That worked. So you could use your nylon jaws if you wanted to. Okay, so I've got one and I've just twisted it twice, and that's nice and sturdy. It's not going anywhere now, which is what we want, especially on a bracelet. I'm always worried about bracelet. Anytime I make a bracelet, I have tested it to make sure it can withstand the test of time. Always. I don't know why I have this like fear that bracelets are just gonna break. I'm terrified of it.
They're the most out there in the world. Like they're banging on pots and pans. I don't know. They're banging on things.
Yeah, I know. I feel like I hit my wrists on everything.
Same.
So I've got my second loop, and I'm gonna twist it once, and then we'll go ahead and give it a cut. So you want to make sure you have a little bit enough for there to be a tail, so it doesn't just flip the wire around, but you don't want to have too much. So.
And maybe like you kind of have to hold the main piece of the wire while I'm twisting it here to get it. Let's see. We'll call my first one a great test. I learned a lot from doing the first one.
Do you have an overhead today so I can see what you're doing?
I can. It would take me just a second to connect it.
Okay. I got mine all twisted up. So if you get it all twisted to the side, you can just... There we go. I'm going to tuck this little tail. It doesn't want to be tucked. Here you go, buddy. And... mine seem to have come loose. Come on, we're going to tighten you back up. Okay.
Does it matter which way you make the loop with the pliers, or does it not?
No,
not because you're twisting it.
No, it doesn't. Just I mean, like obviously when you're twisting it, you you are able to kind of undo the first initial loop you did, if that makes sense. I'll show you what I mean. Let me get another piece of wire. Everyone wants to see yours. I've seen at least 2 comments saying to show us yours, so you're gonna have to
I don't have much to show yet, but I've got my phone, so I have an overhead in a moment.
So let me just get my little knot going. I like how you thought that you were going to beat along with us and not show us anything. You thought that would be acceptable.
Okay, give me 10 seconds. I have to leave to be able to for just audio for a second to connect my phone.
Oh no, it's going to be just me. What will I say?
Okay, I have an overhead, and see, I do not have much to show for you. I was working on my first one. The first thing I saw in my bead box that would work for this project are not Heishi, so don't come for me.
What are they?
They're like a center drilled tourmalinated quartz that are really pretty, actually.
But those will work.
So because they're center drilled and wide, they're like, oh, that's close enough to a Heishi bead. Oh my god, I'm on this camera also, I forgot. So I started my first one, and I already learned that I need, on the second loop, I made the loop bigger and farther from the actual bead. So I already kind of understand the technique a little bit better just from doing that first one. Just visually.
And the great thing about flush cutters is that you could just cut that off and redo it.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to go ahead and do that. Bye-bye. Bye.
Fave. Nothing better than being like, nah, I give up on this try. Okay, so here's what I've got a 90-degree anglet. Let's go. And then we just come around. So if I've come around like this, when I go to twist it, if I twist it back towards me, I'm gonna have to do an extra twist, because this way it's like already halfway. When I go to twist it, if I twist the way I've been going, which is like this way, basically I'm putting the wire that is not the loose wire over the loose wire, if that makes sense. So if I twist it back towards me when I've got my loop like this, it's just gonna basically undo what I've got right here, and then I've just got enough. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. You need something to twist over.
So you want the wire that's anchored into the bead to be twisted over the one that's still loose. And if you accidentally do it the other way, it's not a big deal. You can just twist another time. Sarah! Hello!
Sarah's here. Hi, Shar. You want to come over to the office and bead with me? Okay, thanks. Jesse left me all alone.
Yeah, Lynn's not there because the you-know-what shipped out today.
Heck yeah, it did. Oh, it's so pretty. I'm very happy with this.
I'm very excited. I really want to know what's in it. I feel like at some point in time, maybe I got a hint, but I don't remember what it was. So I'm going to be just as surprised as everyone else. I don't usually get hints, by the way, just so everyone knows. I do not usually get hints, but I feel like I got a hint, but I don't remember what it was.
Yeah, I also remember giving you a hint. I don't remember what the hint was. But at this point, maybe it's for the better that neither of us remember.
Okay, so I've got my little loopy, and we're going to come back around.
I'm just trying to think if this month's for Shira is gonna beat the peacock.
That was my hint. That was my hint. You said something about Shire.
No. So I don't know, because I'm very curious, because I think peacock was Shira's favorite box. So that was June. There's something about this box, and I think that's gonna make Shire happy.
I don't know, because the last box had amethyst in it already.
That's true. I didn't say it had amethyst. Shire was a multifaceted human, by the way, with multiple likes.
Just kidding.
moms.
Shira knows I love her. All right. If you end up twisting and you still have a little tail that decided it didn't want to tuck itself, you could just clip it off. Just so you know. My tails are not wanting to tuck themselves today. I don't know why. I need new flush cutters. I need to get more pointy ones. I love the pointy ones. They're the best. But then I never listen to what gauge wire it says you can use them with. So that's how I always break them. I'm like, oh yeah, this will work on 16 gauge wire. Absolutely.
Famous last words.
Is who moving?
I don't know.
Not sure how to bring the loop out past the stone in order to have 2 turns. Oh. Okay. Let's try with the tiny Heishi then.
Yeah, I'm very curious how to
If I can figure it out.
Ah!
What? Oh, I was like, what did I do? I didn't do anything. I still
This
see
always
me.
happens. Anytime Rachel's overhead cuts out, it goes to me and I'm terrified.
My overhead cut out?
Yeah.
All right.
So while Rachel works on that, I'm gonna.
Sam, I swear I didn't close out of every app, but I closed out of all the tabs on my
You're all good.
Safari.
You can fix it in like 30 seconds, and I'm gonna. So here's where I'm at. My twists are getting slowly better. I'm gonna go ahead and make my next loop. See if I've at all mastered Rachel's technique yet. Okay. We'll see if that does the trick.
Okay.
Let's do a couple twists. Okay, that side did not turn out as pretty as a. Oh no!
All right, I'm back.
Okay,
We'll try to troubleshoot with 2. I'm losing my words with the tiny Heishis. This design I specifically made to be with a little bit of a bigger Heishi, so it's possible it may not work with the tiny ones, but we're gonna try it anyway.
And here's you see how like one side I got like much tighter coils. I mean, I'm not dissatisfied with it. It's like twice as good as my last one. But you can see the difference on either side. I wonder if I twisted differently.
You could twist the one that's less coiled another time if you want to try that.
Okay. I might just shrink my loop. And also definitely I feel like I really have to like hold the wire and the bead pretty well. Okay.
I just want to say Tamara's comment, oops, this is not what I wanted to, that it would look awesome as a ring is actually what I was thinking when I came up with this technique is that it was going to be a ring, and then I tried to do it on a ring, and I don't really make rings. Not since I put all my soldering stuff up because I can't do it in this apartment. So yeah, I tried to make a ring and I was very displeased with it. I haven't made a wire ring in probably 10 years. So it's going to take some more work before I teach rings. Okay, so we're going to try and do this on the little itty bitty ones. I'm not sure if it'll work, but we will try. This might be honestly too big of a gauge of a wire for the little bitty Heishis. But you know, I'm down to try it. So I think it's going to end up taking up most of the top of it, but I think I should have had a bigger wire.
I feel like this technique could also work with a stack. Like you could put like a smaller Heishi in the center stacked on top of.
Ooh, that would be pretty, like an extra flowery thing.
Yeah, like the little like your pollen in the middle of your rose. The roses have, I don't know what the center of a rose looks like. They're always closed.
It is just like a little bud, basically.
Oh,
it's just like if the rest of it hasn't bloomed, like before the leaves all come up, it's like in that like shape like this.
Right.
It's just like that in the middle, and then you just like pull them off. Let's see. We will try. We will try on the baby Heishis. No guarantees. I don't know. Maybe we'll do both of our loops and then twist.
Ruth, this is Rachel's full trial for you here. We'll see what happens.
It's like so small I can't even hold it. Well, yeah, I don't know if 2 twists are gonna happen. I'm worried I'm gonna like break off part of my stone. But I mean, it's pretty sturdy with that 1 twist, honestly, because it's so small. Let's try another one.
I love that each knotted headpin turns out like a little bit differently.
Mm-hmm.
Organic feel to it that feels very floral.
I can't even hold this with my hand. I don't want to hold it with the pliers because I'm worried I'm going to hold it too hard. Can't get a grip on it, Sam.
Yeah, I was having trouble with my beads, and they're like 10, 11 millimeter.
Wait, it has gone all over the place. I don't know if it'll work on these babies. Don't know.
But also the thing with a smaller Heishi bead is it doesn't need to necessarily lay flat. It would be sometimes a smaller Heishi would be better just going the classic bead direction.
I almost wonder if we can, if going down a gauge in wire would work.
Yeah, I do want to make sure we don't have too much time left. So I do want to make sure we get.
Yeah, we'll start like connecting things, and then maybe we'll come back to this. Like that's my fail right there.
Rachel, you gave it a valiant effort, and we appreciate you.
Yeah, I don't know if 24. If you use 24 gauge, you'd probably just have to twist it a bunch more times. But I don't think it could hurt to try. So, what time is it? 7:40. Okay, let's just go ahead and link some of these, and I'll show you how I made my clasp, and then I'll show you how to attach an earring. So for the clasp on this is just a simple hook that I've used. You could obviously attach any clasp you wanted to use. I love using the hook clasps because I can do them myself. I have no luck with the lobster clasps on my own. So we're going to take some jump rings and I'll just attach them. You could also like flip one and then the other if you wanted to attach them like that, but I like them all going the same direction. So we're just going to come in here with jump rings. Anyone who's new to jump rings, just know that you don't pull them apart, you kind of twist them open. So just move your hands in a different direction. And it just comes open like that. The jump ring that like sides together so that when they flatten, they'll be the way you want them. And then you close your jump ring just how you opened it. Ta-da! And that's how you'll link the whole bracelet. Now for the clasp, see exactly. I always do these a little bit different every time I make them. If you want to make a clasp, I would either use probably 18 gauge wire or use the 20 gauge and then hammer it, which is what I've done. Or if your 20 gauge is already like well tempered and pretty stiff, that would be perfect too. So here's what I do. I really change this up every time. Sometimes I make the loop first. Sometimes I make the bent over part first. So usually go something like this, and then you can trim it if you want, which I think I'm going to because I made it a little too long. And then I take my chain nose pliers and I like to fan out the end like an ear wire. I don't know why. I don't think it's necessary, but I love to do that. I think it's so cute. And then I'm gonna pull the wire forward a little bit and I'm gonna make my loop kind of on the the back side of it. So take my pliers. I almost cut it the wrong way. I want to make sure it's flat because, like I said before, if you cut with pliers that aren't going to give you a flush cut, then when you go to, just like how our jump rings are kind of flat on each end when you open it up, you want them to both be flat to come back together and there not be any gaps in between. That's the idea with flush cutters too, that when you make a loop, if it's not all wrapped up like a double wrap loop, then when you go to close your loop or open your loop, it will be pretty flush, if that makes sense. So here's my little hook.
I love, yeah, your hook. I usually make my hooks with like a bail plier and they're like a lot more round, but I love the look, like the length that you have on that.
I never think about making them with my bail making plier. You know what it is that I also on bracelets especially, like I don't want them to be, I want them to be flatter because I don't want them to take up too much space. So I've just got my little hook here. Let's put this on. And my bench block. This is not even a jewelry hammer. It's just a little hammer. It really, this is my favorite hammer to use. I don't know why. You know it's not a jewelry hammer because jewelry hammers don't usually have the little notch for taking nails out. But I use my jewelry hammers for putting nails in the wall too. They're like so much easier to hold than a big hammer. And then I usually try to hammer the end of it just a little bit flatter. So I'm going to pull it out a little bit. And you really can't work with this too much because the more you work with the little piece of wire, the harder it's going to get. And like with the clasp, that's good. So the reason I always hammer out the end a little bit more is because even though we cut it with flush cutters, it'll still be a little sharp. So when you hammer it, kind of spreads out the end. So it spreads out the sharp bits and it shouldn't be sharp anymore. If you hammer it too flat, it will be sharp though. But now it is not sharp, so it's perfect. And if it is sharp and you like how it looks, you could just use like sandpaper or a nail file or something, or a file if you have it. Okay, so here's my little hook, and then I would just open up the loop and hook my little hook on here. My world's tiniest bracelet that does not come together at all.
This is a bracelet for a mouse.
It is, and the mouse will just hold it in its mouth because there's my little hook. So another thing I was going to show you is how we could turn these into earrings. So I'm going to move my little bench block and find the two that I did not.
Well, show us the bracelet the final version of the bracelet once more, so we can see where it'll. Or length, what it'll evolve to.
So it'll. All of the different links are linked together with the jump rings, and it becomes like a nice full-length bracelet. It reminds me of like a garden party. The roses really remind me of the roses in the animated Alice in Wonderland from like, I think it's like the 50s it came out, but that's like one of my favorite movies ever. So like anything that looks kind of like those roses, I was like, it's a rose.
Love that.
So, okay. So now to make these into earrings, a matching pair of earrings, I've just grabbed, these are little check glass leaves, and these are also little check glass leaves. These might be too big. I don't know. I wanted to use them. We'll see.
I think they'll work.
I think. And then I've got my ball headpins. These are my favorites. I like pretty much exclusively use ball headpins. So we're gonna go like we're gonna make a double wrap loop. So got my head pin on there. I'm gonna bend my wire to 90-degree angle. Bend the wire back over my round nose pliers and then kind of adjust, and got my little loop. I'm gonna open it up, and then you're gonna slide your Heishi on there. And come back in and hold it and wrap your wire around. These copper ball head pins I have are so stiff, and I don't know why. I don't remember where I've got them. I've had them forever, but the wire is just so stiff.
Meaning it's hard to actually wrap it.
Can't do it with my fingers. You know I like to use my fingers, but these ones are definitely plier head pins. Cut my end off and tuck it. And you've got your little, oh, that's really cute, actually. I love these check maple leaves. Hint, hint, if you wanted to get more colors in again.
You know, I think I
ordered some?
I think I know I at least just got the purple ones. Literally just arrived like yesterday. So it's very random that you just grabbed those, Rachel. Because I was like
the purple ones.
Those popped up again. I was like, oh my gosh, I love those. I love those.
My most favorite ones are, I don't know where I put them because they weren't in the box. Are they in here? Oh, here they are. No, they're and these don't really go with I don't feel like they do kind of go, actually. These are my most favorite ones. Those are
pretty. I remember those.
Those actually match perfectly, but we're gonna stick with these purpley ones. So there was one maple leaf I couldn't get. I don't remember what it was. You have put it only in like the purple mix or something, or like when you were doing the check closeout mixes. And I did not get them in my mix.
Oh, was it the brown mix? Those like tan ones?
Possibly.
Yeah, the luck of the draw of the mixes.
Even though I was like, but what if in my mix? So nobody gets priority, just so you know.
Well, I love that. Did you say last month you actually got an extra item in your bead box and you're like, did Sam do this on purpose? And I was like,
oh yeah.
No, I didn't do that.
I was so confused too. I was like looking on the sheet and I was like, okay. Yeah, I did do an unboxing for last month's bead box, y'all, but I messed it up. So it didn't get I don't know how to use the streaming software by myself, apparently.
So close, yet so far.
I know.
Rachel made this like super excited intro, and then we totally lose her audio for the next 20 minutes of the unboxing, and we never get to get. We just see. It's funny. I'll kind of reenact it. This is what I was like watching it before I was going to post it. It's like, wait a second, something's off. So, wait, I have to grab a bead to be able to do this properly. Alrighty. Okay, let's flip the camera around and we're going to get started. And that goes on for 18 minutes. I'm just like, it's just like Rachel's hands dancing, and I'm like, I'm so fascinated what she's saying right now. But in other news, I've made 3 successfully.
Perfect. Well, I only made 4, so
and I was thinking I don't really want to make that many more. So I'm gonna add you some smaller Heishis to go with them, I think, for the rest of the bracelet.
I think that'll be fun. What was I gonna say? Do you
know what I know?
Do you guys want me to make a quick pair of ear wires, or do you want me to make some more loops? Some more little flowers? What do we want?
Rachel has started the poll. The poll has begun. In our 7-second delay, 5, 3.
Ear wires. I see one response for ear wires. So 2 responses for ear wires. Okay, we're gonna make some ear wires. So this is copper wire that I have work hardened already. So you want some harder wire because when you make ear wires, obviously you don't want them to distort after you made them. So you want something that's going to be a little bit less soft. So these pieces are 2 1/4 inches long. That is just generally my go-to for ear wires. It just always works well for me. So that's 2.25 inches. Let me see what that is in centimeters. It's about 6 centimeters. Now, these are a little longer than 2.25, but that's fine. It doesn't need to be exact. I like to cut. So when I cut them, I cut one, and then I measure the other one next to the piece I've already cut. Because when I hold things up to the ruler, I never cut them the same every time. So I just cut them based on the last one. It works way better for me.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So we're going to come in here. Yeah, Shira, I bought this thing when I went to visit my parents. I bought this thing with all these hooks on it, and I was like, I'm gonna hang all my rulers on it. So I've got most of them hung over there. So we're gonna start in both ends of this. I've cut with my flush cutter, so both ends are flat. So I'm gonna come in here, and this is probably about 3/8 of an inch. It's usually my standard. Put the ruler away. But it's kind of whatever you're used to. Perfect. Whatever you're used to making loops with. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to make, I've got it at a 90-degree angle. I'm going to make my loop. There's a loop. I'm going to come do it on the other one.
I don't think I've told everyone here. I think I told you this, Rachel, that Beadalon's doing their challenge again. Oh, I definitely called Rachel.
Oh, you definitely called me about this.
But the fine print I was reading, it said, or wasn't so fine, it was pretty high up. It said, you can't have the same designer represent you. I totally just interrupted you in the middle of your ear wires. Sorry, you continue. I'll tell the story after you finish with your ear wires.
Thanks. I was like, maybe this is not the best time for this story, Sam.
I got very into my own project over here, and I was like very plaintive. But you continue, please.
So once I've got my loop at the bottom, one thing you can do at this point, if you wanted, you can put a bead on there. And then it's like your little accent bead. I don't know if I want beads on these ones, though. So I'm not going to put the bead on there. But if you put the bead on there, then you would take your pliers and you would do exactly what I'm doing, just with a bead on there. And so I'm going to bend my pliers, give this another 90-degree angle, or bend my wire over my pliers. So I've got another little 90-degree angle. And then you can come in here either with, you can use bell making pliers if you want. You can use a Sharpie. I usually go in here with this thing. I don't, this is like a stepped mandrel, but I don't know what for. So I'm going to just bend my wire around it. And I try to get my part that I've bent right here as close as possible to there. And then I'm going to bend in the top part. I like to let them touch because then I know I've bent it the exact same every time. So I'm going to go ahead and do that on my other one too. Just bend the wire. Can you hear Oliver?
Of course, he sounds adorable.
He's locked in the bedroom because he's proven that he cannot be in the classes without being disruptive. So he's being punished. Now, Marauder, as long as he can see me, he's usually pretty good. I don't know where he just went, though. Okay. So I've gotten my ear wires. Now, I do have a little bit of extra wire here, but that's okay. I'm fine with it. You can cut it if you want. If you had put a bead on there, you wouldn't have this much. So if you wanted to cut it, you could line them up at this point and cut a little, or you can leave it. Let's see. I may cut them a little bit. Just eyeball it. Nice thing about ear wires, as long as they're mostly the same, they're good. Okay, and then I come in with, I like these, I forget what we said these were called. I like these pliers that are not rounded on the top. They're like flat nose, and they're basically the same size all the way. These are my favorite for doing this, and I just come in here, and I'm just gonna, am I on the screen? Flip up the end of the ear wire, just to give it that extra little touch. Now, if you have made them exactly like mine and there's no bead on there, you could come in with some like 24 gauge wire and wrap it around there if you really wanted that, but I think they look just fine like this too. And then if the ends are rough, obviously don't want that going through your ear, so you can come in with a file or a nail file or whatever and just flatten that out. They also make these like little deburring tools that you can use for this, but I find it a lot easier to just use my file, honestly. And then I just,
Yeah, there's like cut burrs that you can make it a rounded edge.
yeah. I have never had much luck using those, and it's probably user error. I even like put one in my flex shaft, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be great. It's like mechanical, but no, it did not like me. But okay, and then you can just open and close your loops just like a jump ring and hook your earrings on. There's a lot of different ways to make ear wires, but this is a way that I like and I've developed. You can also make like a jig and make different shapes, but I just kind of eyeball them when I make them. Just as long as they're mostly, there's people that like to make both of them at the same time, but I don't like to have to hold it. And another thing you could do at this point is if you decide after the fact you want a bead on there, you can kind of straighten out this bit and slide a bead on and then bend it back, which I do with store-bought ear wires. Is I'll slip off the ball and the spring, and then I'll slip on like a seed bead or something. And you might have to straighten out the ear wire a little bit to get it on there, and then you just hook it back. These kind of make me think of Halloween.
They're very cute, actually. I get more of a summer feel of the.
Oh, really?
I feel like they're probably brighter in person than they're showing on camera with between the blue and the purple. But the dark wash over the purple, I could definitely get a little bit Halloween.
Yeah, Karen, it does look like a jump ring mandrel, but they would be very big jump rings. This end piece is.
Yeah, I mean, it's usually called a mandrel, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it's a mandrel. I don't know what it's for. Maybe bezels. I don't know. It's like I feel like it's the size of it is not anything that I would be able to probably guess what I got it for. It's not like small enough to be for jump rings or really big enough, I feel like, to be that useful for bezels, but it's been great for I've used it so much when making ear wires, like so much. I do have bail making pliers too that would work for ear wires, but I just prefer this little mandrel. Okay, so that's our project. So now, Sam, would you like to make your announcement?
I was more like, it was like story time. And I can maybe sort of do this as I want to add one more link and then show where my bracelet's going, because I'm like a little excited by it right now.
Yeah.
So I called a bracelet the other day because Beadalon sent out last month looking for people who want to enter into their like design contest that they do. They usually do it at Tucson, but they did a virtual one. When was that? Was like beginning of earlier this year, right, Rachel?
Yes, it was January.
Kitty cat. And they said, okay, we're
I
looking
want
for
to hear the story.
so cute. They were like, we're looking if you want to come do it again. I was like, yeah, great. I was about to fill it out with Rachel's name, and it said, you will need a new designer to represent you. And I was like, oh no. Moment of panic. But I was like, you know what? This is gonna be fun. I'm doing this.
Hey!
So how this works, they're just gonna send me a box of like tools and beads and fun things like Dakota Stones and some Jesse James, like a bunch of different fun things. And everyone on this, it'll be like basically a broadcast Zoom call, like 25 different designers, and we each have 1 hour to make with the box. Rachel like made multiple pieces. My goal is to have something done by the end. But my main goal is that I want to be the hoot and the holler on that stream and be like, y'all, there's a reason that I'm okay at wire work. I can get by. I'm fine. I've been doing it for a while here and there. I can make my mom a necklace. I can make myself a bracelet if I want it. But like, Rachel makes jewelry like every day because she sells her jewelry. That's never been my thing. So it's like, so I don't have like the speed or like, I don't see a design as quickly until I'm like starting to like make. Shara says I can't get distracted. So like a little bit terrified, but also like, I think it's also going to be hysterical.
I'm excited.
Like, Rachel, I hope you watch and be like, Sam, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, you know, like that Food Network show, like Worst Cooks in America. Like,
I love that show.
I think it's so funny. So like, as long as
you're not wrong.
That bad. You know, I knew someone on that show who was on like 2 different seasons. One
Were
of my
the
old voice
person that
teachers.
tried to sear cheese?
You ever see the opera singer on Worst Cooks in America?
Maybe. It's been a while.
So if you ever see an opera singer, like I know him, and he's so funny. He's been on 2 different seasons of it. It's so funny. Anyway, I'm excited. I hope everyone watches. I have no idea what the date is. I could look it up.
I think you said it's like October.
Later this month. No, it's like later this month. Let's see. Beat a lot.
No, I don't think it's September. I'm pretty sure you said October. Watch me be wrong. I like to be right.
This month, but we'll see. But anyway, 5 o'clock. Wait, I want to show you where my bracelet's heading. So I've only attached. Oh, I'm so small. You want to zoom me in, Rachel?
We could try.
This is where the unboxing went wrong. All right, can you still hear me? There we go.
Beautiful. Oh.
So this is.
I like what you've done.
I was like, I saw that lavender and aqua and apatite next to each other. And I was like, that's kind of pretty. And then I wouldn't normally put apatite with a bead like tourmalated quartz, but I think I'm gonna go for it. And I've got my 3 little roses are gonna be kind of my focal. And then the rest is gonna be these little links of aquamarine. Oh my god, of apatite and labradorite. And I'm very excited to wear this when it's done. These are a fun little technique. I like that they also kind of feel like they could be cool links in a necklace. And of course, in those earrings was really pretty. There's a lot of options there. But that brings us to the end of today's class. Rachel showed us.
Thank you, everyone, for being here. I'm excited to see what you guys do.
If you make something, you know the drill. Share it in a gem chat group so that
even if it's not this project, if you make something, share it in gem chat. We love to see it.
So that we can all ooh and ah over your beautiful creations.
I think it's also worth mentioning right now, since it did ship out today, that the bead box, 10 days? We don't allow posts in the gem chat.
I think we're gonna be moved to like 1 week. So like basically by like next weekend, like a week from tomorrow, we will start approving posts. Cindy says, "Are these beads in the September bag?" I haven't showed. I haven't showed anything from the September bag. That would be. I wouldn't let that secret slip. That easy. Alrighty.
Thank you, everyone.
For being here. Thank you, Rachel, for coming up with such a fun design and sharing with us.
I'm excited to come up with more Heishi designs too. We'll use some of the smaller ones.
Yes, I want to know what we got round Heishi and square Heishi. I'm very. Has one been calling you for the next project?
I was feeling I have a lot of the square Heishi, so I was thinking of the square Heishi, but we'll see.
Cool. I'm excited.
Like a billion different stones. So
it's so pretty.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for being here.
Have a good weekend.